All right, welcome back here to the Hill. So, unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs, they are a hot topic, as you might know, on Capitol Hill. But really, it's nothing new. Consider this headline from the New York Daily News in 1952. Jets chase D.C. sky ghosts as air traffic controllers at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport here across the river spotted 7 unidentified flying objects in the sky. Here we are 72 years later, and we're still grappling with the question, are we alone? Lawmakers earlier today started to take critical steps towards transparency surrounding UAPs. They've really been doing it for a while. But the latest move happened with a closed-door classified briefing up on Capitol Hill. Republican Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett, one of the top lawmakers probing the issue. He shared his frustrations with me about what he heard behind closed doors. Watch. So you just came from the briefing. Were you satisfied at what you heard? I know you.
No, my biggest thing all along, it's obviously a lot of folks want to. It's little green men, it's flying saucers.
Right.
My concern is the tens of millions, if not billions, of dollars that we've invested in the research of this issue since 1947 that we know of, and yet the federal government keeps telling Congress they don't exist. And yet, obviously, they're investigating something. So you think? And then when I have an admiral tell me they're real, when I have some of the top pilots in the world say they're real, I don't see why American taxpayers can't get that information.
So you think there have been billions potentially in government money that's been spent on developing something, or?
Well, I'd like to know that. Are they developing something, or have they recovered something that has allowed them to spend this much money?
When you come out of that briefing, what questions do you have?
I end up with more questions.
Every time, or just today?
Yeah, always, because I always say it's like looking down the barrel of a .22 rifle. They are very specific in what they know, and it is very compartmentalized. It's like Oak Ridge National Laboratory, which I don't represent, but over 6,000 folks that work there live in the 2nd Congressional District that I represent. And they, during the Second World War, over 2,000 people were working on the bomb, and less than a half a dozen knew what they were working on, because it was so compartmentalized. I mean, husbands and wives did not know. Brothers and sisters who worked at the lab did not know because of that compartmentalization. And that's carried over into this. So say it was a recovered craft in 1947 at Roswell, New Mexico. Every person that was involved in that is dead now. And it's been passed on and passed on and passed on. And now with these private contractors who you in the press and we as Congress cannot access because they're not under FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, because they have passed it on to a private contractor. And is that by design? I don't know. But I still think we need to ask some questions, and we need to know some answers. Dadgummit, it's just going on too long, and there's no excuse for not giving us other than arrogance.
I hear you on asking questions, and that's part of your job, obviously. But I'm wondering beyond that, what comes next in your view?
Well, that's a great question. And I'm going to be working with the chairman. And since I'm not chairman of this so-called subcommittee, it is a subcommittee, I'm going to be working with them to get us an excellent list of witnesses for this next hearing. And I'm not going to release them because the last time I did that, the folks were literally told not to come.
By who?
We were told by NASA, a quasi branch of NASA, other groups. They claimed they didn't do it, but the folks told me they did. And we'd asked over a dozen folks, that's 12. And we ended up with 3 excellent witnesses that put their love of this country over the love of themselves. Because obviously Grush was ridiculed. He was outed as somebody that had PTSD. And in East Tennessee, we don't make fun of people because they served their country and suffered from it. We celebrate those people, and we try to get them and support them. But in Washington, D.C., they destroy those people. And that just shows the ruthless nature, and that shows that we are over the target, that we have, as I was told, I have kicked a hornet's nest at the Pentagon.
I know you got a flight to catch, so we'll leave it there.
Right,
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.